In the previous session, we have seen about performing database operations in PHP using MySQLi way. In today's session, we will see the alternate way of performing data operations in PHP using PDO. PDO is PHP data object. So we will start the performing operations like creating database and table using PDO in PHP. As we know that we are having MySQL as a backend database software, and database is like a folder or directory which is having a collection of tables, and each table is a collection of records, and each record is a collection of character or values. Now we will connect our PHP with the backend software using PDO way, that is PHP data object way. Now, what are the steps for doing this? We have to establish a connection. For that, we have to create object of PDO class. There is a predefined PDO, capital PDO class in PHP, which is used for performing database operations. All the necessary methods, properties for database operations are available under this PDO class. So we have to create object of this PDO class, and in bracket we have to mention MySQL, that is database name, colon host is equal to the name of our host server where our server is running, semicolon, and we have to give the name of username of our backend software and its password, as it is root and no password. So we are just mentioning on the local host in the MySQL, having username as a root and having no password. We want to create a further operation. So before database operations, we have to create a database. We know that how we create a database by using create database and the name of database. So we have to form a query in one variable. Once the query is built, we have to run the query using PDO by using the object of PDO class, arrow operator, and exec method. In bracket, mention the name of the query variable. To close the connection at the bottom at the end of the code, we have to use unset method, in bracket use the object of PDO class. These are the three important statements, that is creating object of PDO just to establish a connection. Second, executing a query by using object of PDO, arrow operator, exec method, and at the bottom we have to close the connection or terminate the established connection by using unset method, and in bracket we have to give the object of PDO. We will see the program for creating a database in a PDO way. So we will make sure our XAMPP control panel, Apache and MySQL services are running, and parallelly we will check over here. We have to start our local host, which is at port number 8080. Dashboard is open at localhost colon 8080. PHP my admin panel is open. Just refresh that. As of now, there are employee database is created over here having emp table and which is having few records, but we will start creating a new database for this operation. So for that we will write a PHP code starting with the PHP tag. We have to create object of PDO, suppose with p name is equal to new PDO. In bracket we have to give keyword as MySQL colon host is equal to the name of our server or machine where the local host is, where the Apache server is running. So my SQL host is equal to local host because we are having the same machine as a local host. Semicolon, double quotes complete. we have to give the name, username of MySQL database and the empty password. So it is just establishing a connection with the MySQL database available on localhost with username root and empty password. This is just for creating a database. Now, whether the connection is established or not, how to check that? So, for that, we can use the try catch block for exception handling. If this gets executed successfully, we can write that over here. And if you want, you can put a message over here, established connection successfully if get executed correctly. And if there is an error in establishing a connection, it will jump to the catch block and it will create the object of PDO exception over here, and we will receive the information in this PDO exception class object created in the bracket. If there is an exception occurs while establishing a connection in the try block, it will jump to the catch block and it will show an error, sorry, could not connect. Now we have just established a connection. Now we have to form a query for creating a database. Now again for that we can have a try catch block. It may be possible that connection is established well, but there is an runtime error while executing a query. So we are including that within a try catch exception handling mechanism. So I am forming a query, suppose SQL is equal to, the query is create database, and the name of database suppose I am giving as a bikes. Query is formed. Now we have to run the query. So for that we will use the PDO object, that is P object, and arrow operator exec method in bracket we will pass the object of our SQL variable. If this query gets executed successfully, we have to show a message that database created, and if not, if exception generates, it will jump to the catch block having PDO exception object, and we have to show error over here, error could not create database, and close the catch. At the end, we have to close the connection by using unset method. In bracket, we have to pass the object of PDO, that is P, and closing tag of PHP. Now we will save this file under XAMPP htdocs with pdo1.php extension, and our XAMPP services are running. We will go to our local host and here we will run our pdo1.php file. It is showing message established connection successfully, database created. Now we will verify that in our PHP my admin panel. As of now, at the left hand side there is no database bikes created yet. Refresh the PHP my admin panel. We will see the bikes database is created over here. Now moving on, we have to create a table in under this database. So the same pattern will be followed, but only the if you are getting confused with this try catch block, you can simply skip these statements for your convenience. Let's try. Now the table is created always under database. So for creating a table, here we have to make a change. While creating PDO object, we are giving the name of the local host, and here after semicolon we have to give attribute as a db name is equal to, and we have to give the name of our database, that is bikes, and rest of the things will be same, because table will be created under this bikes table. So we have created object of PDO with P name, and we have established a connection with the local host MySQL database with username root and password empty. And under bikes database, we want to create a table. So for creating a table, we will create or build a query with create create table, and name of bike or table is suppose Jupiter, and in bracket we have to give the name of column, suppose model number, and data type is int. And if you want to give other parameters like not null, we can give that, comma. The second column is suppose model name, which is varchar of size suppose 30, and that also I want not null. Only two columns suppose I want to mention, or we can have another column suppose for price and integer not null. Three columns I have created, and close the query with double quotes and give the semicolon. Now the query is formed. We have to run the query using PDO object p arrow exec method and the name of our query variable, and we have to give a message over here, table table created after the successful execution of this line, and at the end for closing the connection unset method. Now we have to save this code under XAMPP htdoc. Suppose I am giving name pdo2.php. Let us run the file over here, pdo2.php. It is showing that established a connection successfully, syntax error okay at this line. So we will check it over here, create table Jupiter model number. The names are given over here, and suppose we put this under try, and we are writing catch over here, PDO exception object e variable, and we can put a message over here as echo sorry could not connect, but our connection was established successfully. Let us check over here, SQL create table Jupiter model number int not null, model name varchar of 30 not null, price int okay. Here no semicolon should be there, not null. Okay, let us execute the code again, refresh the file. Established connection successfully, table created. Let us go to the PHP my admin panel, refresh the page. We will check under bikes, is there Jupiter table? Yes, Jupiter table is created. On clicking of that, we can see the model number, model name, and price. So table is created successfully. So by using PDO, that is PHP data object, we can also perform a database operation in PHP. Only three things we have to remember. We have to create object of PDO for establishing a connection with MySQL colon host is equal to localhost semicolon and username and password. This is for creating a database. But for further query, we have to give db name is equal to name of database before this semicolon. Then we have to build a query. For running query, we have to use PDO object arrow exec method and the name of query variable in arguments, and close the connection using unset method. So we are done up to creating a database and creating table using PDO in PHP. See you in the next session. Thank you.